Many people these days seem to look at media from a very critical lens, whether that be looking at all the cool things and what people love, or looking at all the bad things and what people don't like, whether it's big or small, and saying what they think that the ideal story should be. People look at faulty storytelling, lazy storytelling, anything that they think should be improved within media, and just generally what they think would work within their favorite storylines. Now, don't get me wrong, criticism can be valuable, but sometimes it feels like it's been taken to a whole new level. Take the new Spider-Man for PS5, the main example for this video. The reason I wanted to talk about this game in particular is because it's a fairly good game, but gets a decent amount of unwarranted criticism. Now, the main thing that people have had an issue with is the nature of the story and how it all works together. Insomniac tried to jam-pack as many storylines and villains as they could in an effort to make the game an overall appealing experience for the Spider-Man fans. But they might have gotten a little bit ahead of themselves, and there's just too much jam-packed into one game. Now, I actually agree with this criticism. I think it's a valid criticism, but looking at the game holistically, it's not really that bad. And it actually makes the game more fun in some ways, especially if you don't look too deep into it. For the average gamer, the fun gameplay elements work together to make an overall enjoyable experience for someone just trying to have a cool game to play. Like one example of this is I love the web wings and the unlockable fast travel mechanic and the overall smooth traversal that the game offers. And not to mention the next gen graphics were just awesome to see throughout the game. And yes, I actually do like Peter's new face better than the old one despite popular opinion, but MJ on the other hand was a blatant downgrade from the old one. Also, some suits were just kind of bad, but these things don't really detract from the game that much, and it's not really a big deal. Another kind of big criticism people bring up is the fact that the combat isn't really enjoyable, or that it's similar to Arkham-style games, but I just see it as utilizing a current gameplay loop that already works, and then using it with Spider-Man, which I think it works pretty well in. But I bring these examples up specifically because they are valid criticisms, but not really anything you should say a game is really bad over. For an average gamer, the game holds up fine. Sure, it's not perfect, but it serves its purpose. Now, people saying that the game is bad is one thing, but there is one video on YouTube that honestly had my jaw on the floor because of how outlandish it was. I discovered this video because I was just scrolling on my YouTube feed, and I came across a video saying that the game is disgusting woke propaganda. And to be honest, I didn't really want to talk about anyone specific when first considering making this video, but the guy in this video, Synthetic Man, is just a prime example of what I'm talking about. In his video, he talks about a whole laundry list of small criticisms that may have some validity, but to be honest, they're extremely nitpicked if you look at the game holistically and from the point of view of a normal person. But as the title says, and the crux of the whole video expands upon, the game is woke propaganda, because some of the side missions that are completely optional and aren't needed for the story have some woke aspects to them. But I understand people want value from side missions, and it's not like the missions are insufferable or take a too large amount of time. Sure, they might be subpar in some ways, but I never said it was a perfect game. And trust me, I'm just as against wokeness injected into the media as the next guy. I made a whole video about it. Yeah, that whole video was about criticizing Disney, ironically. That's what I'm hating on right now, right? But I also talked about the good parts and what companies were actually doing correctly. Anyway, the game is pretty enjoyable for the average person, and people even wanted it to become Game of the Year, so I'd say it does its job fairly well. I'm not sure it really deserves Game of the Year, but it is better than people who are saying awful things about the game like this guy. Most of his video was just him letting the woke stuff get to him, even though most of the game doesn't have to do with that, and not being able to appreciate the game for what it is. But yeah, watching this video of his basically solidified me in wanting to talk about him specifically, so I figured I would look deeper into his content and the type of things he does just to see what I was working with. Then scrolling through his channel, I noticed most of his videos are just criticisms of a bunch of other games. Sure, he's a review channel, but come on, you don't need to only focus on the bad stuff constantly. But the thing is, it's not just Synthetic Man who's hyper-focused on this criticism. It's a much broader issue within the whole media community. Every new release gets dissected, and people can't seem to enjoy things for what they are at all. I remember watching the last Star Wars movie in theaters, and sure, it wasn't as good as the others, but I remember walking out of that theater and being like, yeah, that was a decent movie. Overall, I thought it sent off the series in a way that worked decently well. But over the next few days, I talked to my friends about it, and they were like, yeah, bro, that movie was so bad, and listed a bunch of nitpicks. Once again, it wasn't a perfect movie, but you can at least enjoy it for what it is. Another example is Cars 2, which is just supposed to be a fun, chill movie, but still isn't spared from the criticism either. After rewatching it more recently, I thought it was pretty cool how the creators wanted to focus more on Mater as the main character rather than McQueen, and we even got to see his process of becoming a full-out spy, which is just fun. Yet people still love to hate on it. From my perspective, I personally think that it's more productive to just appreciate the entertainment value for what it is, instead of just searching for all the flaws you can find. I mean, it's called entertainment for a reason. Sure, sometimes plot holes and lazy storytelling can decrease the value of a film, and the better ones are that much better in comparison, but people should still try to enjoy it for the positive aspects instead of creating a whole culture of nitpicking. Whenever I watch a new movie or play a new game, I always find myself second-guessing praising it, thinking that people are going to find everything else wrong with it. People need to appreciate the hard work of creators and allow themselves to enjoy the diverse media landscape without constantly walking on eggshells. After all, imagine being a producer or director constantly anticipating criticism for your creative efforts. Striking a good balance between criticism and appreciation will do wonders to keep media at the best possible state for the future of gaming and movies. If you like some of the points I made for this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing, for the algorithm, especially for this video because I think it has a pretty good message to get out. And Synthetic Man, if you watch this, you gotta start seeing the glass half full, man. Sorry for calling you out specifically, but you were a great example for this video. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.